Good morning. It is now Friday here in Nuremberg. So here I am at Munich or München Hauptbahnhof. I've got 2 nights here. So this is my train to Frankfurt. And so here I am, Frankfurt, my home place of yesteryear. Frankfurt, where the trams are turquoise. Frankfurt, the only place where the Brexit dividend is actually a real thing. So I've met up with Mum, who flew in overnight. We've had some breakfast, bought a week ticket, and we're now going to... Shall we go to the dinosaur museum, Mum?
Again! What do you think of all the padlocks there?
Don't know if I like them.
So here we are at the top, overlooking fantastic view of Wiesbaden. And we worked out these, I think, were vineyards. Didn't think they grew grapes this far north, but apparently they do. You can get Rhine wine. We're now on our way to the Hauptbahnhof. They're off to the airport. I've got another night in Frankfurt. Hello YouTube, I'm David Frankel, and around me there are a lot of planes. Welcome to the Sinsheim Transport Museum. And here I am in Strasbourg, now in France. So from here on, the rest of the trip will be France, Italy, and Austria, before finishing in Hungary. That is the end of part 4. Good morning, I'm in Strasbourg. Today is Tuesday, 29th of October, only 2 days until the United Kingdom explodes, according to Marc Francois. Now, over the weekend, daylight saving time kicked in. We went back 1 hour, which means now it gets dark even earlier in the day. I'm planning to basically spend 1 day in Strasbourg. I came a couple of years ago, so I don't think I'll need more than that. And then I'm off to Lyon. Now I'm currently reevaluating the route beyond there. My current plan is to go through Turin to Genoa, but I was thinking of rerouting via the Mediterranean coast and stopping off at Nice. Welcome to InterRail, the series from my 2 months of interrailing around Europe by train from London to Budapest the long way. I'll visit Brussels and stay with some family friends in Luxembourg before heading east into Germany, visiting Cologne and Berlin. I'll then take a diversion north, stopping off at Hamburg on my way to Copenhagen via the famous train ferry which has since ended, before heading back into Germany to visit Nuremberg, Munich, and meeting my parents at my former home of Frankfurt. I'll then head south into France, through Strasbourg, Lyon, and Nice, before running along the Mediterranean and through northern Italy via Genova, Florence, and Venice. I'll then head north through the spectacular Brenner Pass and right across Austria, before finally finishing off in the Hungarian capital and my other home city of Budapest. I'm starting part 5 in Strasbourg, a city swapped between France and Germany many times throughout its history. I'll then head south deeper into France to visit the city of Lyon, before heading further south through Marseille to Nice. Continuing my journey along the Mediterranean, I'll visit the city of Monte Carlo before crossing the border into Italy. centre of Strasbourg for a bit. Here I am in Petit France, basically where all the canals converge. I remember last time we took a boat tour around here and came through here, but I never had a chance to just walk around it. It's a lovely place to walk around, although I must say the weather is rather miserable today. It's cold, drizzly rain. Perhaps it would be best to go inside. And so here is the magnificent Strasbourg Cathedral, which looks strangely like it should have a second tower. It's a bit asymmetrical. If I remember correctly, last time it was closed, so we couldn't actually go in. This time, hopefully I will, and I might even be able to go up, get a view of the city. And here I am, after a whole lot of climbing, right at the top. There's still a little bit more to go up there, but the view's probably about the same. Then again, there is always that animalistic instinct to go as far up as you can, so I've come this far, I might as well finish it. But first, let's take a look at the view. Actually, by the looks of it, this is as far up as you can go. Not that I'm complaining, the view from here is already pretty spectacular, so. So I've formulated a plan for the rest of the day. I'm going to go get some lunch. I'm going to try and find some tarte flambé or Flammenkuchen. Then I'm going to hop on the tram over to Kel. I did that last time, but since then a new extension is opened. So I'm going to have a look at that. And then I'm going to go to the European Parliament and get a tour as I did in Brussels. Same deal as in Brussels. Don't have to book, don't have to pay. Sounds almost too good to be true, but it's not. Such is the European Union. That is intensely satisfying to watch. I'm not quite hungry yet, so I've got an hour or so to kill before then. I'm gonna go see if there's any museums I can pop my head into, since it's raining and miserable. So I just spent an hour and a bit in the History of Strasbourg Museum and then had some tarte flambé or Flammenkuchen. I must say it's not quite the same without meat, but it was nice all the same. And whilst I was doing all of that, the news broke that the UK is officially having an election on the 12th of December, to which I can only respond, "You're joking, not another one." Single ticket valid for an hour, only €1.80. That's cheaper than pretty much all the tram systems I've been on in Germany.
Kiel Bahnhof. Also bucht ihr mit? Jetzt südlich am Kehler Bahnhof.
So here I am at Kehl Rathaus, the end of the line. It's been extended an entire 2 stops since the last time we came here, when it just terminated here at Kehl Bahnhof. So after having spent almost a month thinking I've finally escaped, here I am back again over the border in Germany. I don't think there's all that much here, but this is the town hall, the Rathaus, hence the name of the stop. Let's go back to France. Good morning, it's Wednesday and today I got myself out at 7:55. Ding ding ding, new record, except it's only because I know I have a train to catch. I'm catching the 9:03. I'm going to Lyon. So here I am in Lyon. This is the River Rhône, which flows through the city. There's also the River Saône further in that direction, and further south the two join. at the confluence, which is where the Museum of the Confluence is located, which is where I'm slowly going to head. I'm going to try and explore the city a bit. My hostel's right in the kind of downtown area, and the station is also at the other end of the downtown area. That doesn't seem like the most touristy bit, so I'll probably stick around here until it gets dark and then head back to the hostel.
Musée des Confluences. Ouverture des portes à gauche dans le sens de la circulation.
So here is the River Rhone. The tram crosses on a bridge that looks suspiciously like the bridge between Strasbourg and Kehl, probably the same architect. And here is the Museum of the Confluences. Might even go inside, but first I'm going to go and see the confluence itself, which is just over there. Good morning, and here in Lyon, a full day here, and then tomorrow I'm heading off to Nice. I'm now on my way to join a walking tour. Meanwhile, here is the River Saône. So here I am in the old town on the western side of the Saône view. And here are two funny looking bridges. They are both funicular railways heading up the hills in two different directions. And I'll be riding them probably after the walking tour. I'll come back here. Our tour guide shows us some of Lyon's famous traboules, passageways that link the streets through apartment buildings that were used by silk workers and can still be accessed by the general public today. We're also told about Bouchon's restaurant in Lyon that served food for its workers at an affordable price, famous for using all parts of an animal, such as pig's feet. Sounds delicious. Oh, and keep an eye out for the occasional silkworm. We're then taken into an underground car park at Place de Célestin to see, well, this. One of the great things about these tours is that they just take you to places you otherwise wouldn't go, like an underground car park, which is actually a fantastic piece of modern architecture. Our tour finishes at the Grand Hotel Dieu de Lyon, an old hospital turned hotel with restaurants and cafes. So here I am outside the theatre, just had a walking tour of the Via de Lyon over on the other side of the Saône, which is the more touristy area, while so far I've been more kind of in between the two rivers and east of the Rhone, which is the kind of downtown area. It's set up quite like Budapest, this city actually. You've got the grid-like downtown streets in the east, they're quite Parisian, whilst the more touristy old town bit is on the west side. I'm now going to go up the hill on one of the two funiculars, apparently the other one is currently closed, annoyingly enough, go up and see the Roman amphitheatre and the church. So here I am at Minimes, the halfway station. Now I'm off to the Roman amphitheatre. So here I am by the Roman ruins of Lyon. I think there is an actual museum further up that way, but it looks like the main part of the ruins are free to just walk around. So there's two amphitheatres here. This is the smaller one, there's a slightly larger one over there, which I'll take a look at in a second. And then there's a third, even larger one elsewhere in the city called the Amphitheatre of the Three Gauls. And also it's pissing it down with rain, which makes it not great weather to walk around exploring Roman ruins.
And just around the corner from the Roman Museum is the Basilica de Fouvrière. Also, you get a fantastic view of Lyon from up here. Well, I'm guessing it's usually a fantastic view. Today you can't see that well because it is rainy and cloudy and miserable weather. I'm hoping it's going to be nicer than this in Nice.
Round the corner from the Fouvrière Basilica is this metal tower, which looks suspiciously like the Eiffel Tower in Paris. It was completed 3 years after its Parisian cousin in 1894, designed deliberately by the city to be taller than the basilica to assert France's secular identity over its religious one. Back in the day it was open to the public and had a viewing deck and restaurants, but today it's just used as a TV tower. Bit disappointing, really.
So just as it's getting dark, I've found my way to the third amphitheatre, Theatre of the Three Gauls, but rather disappointingly it's fenced off, so you can't actually go inside. You can just look at it through the fence. Go home, Lyon Metro, you're drunk.
It's not that early, it's 7 o'clock. And yet the entire city seems to still be completely asleep. It's very quiet.
Pour la sortie et les correspondances,
Mesdames, Messieurs, dans quelques instants, nous arriverons en gare de Marseille-Saint-Charles. Marseille-Saint-Charles, terminus de ce train.
So here I am at Marseille St Charles. I decided not to go to Marseille in the end. I basically had to decide between Marseille and Nice because I didn't have time to do both. So I'm catching the next train to Nice instead, which is in 4 minutes. So better go quickly. Okay, slight problem. The 9:58 to Nice doesn't seem to exist. It's not on any of the board. There are no TER trains at any of the platforms. 9:58 to Nice does not exist. Something is fishy. So a bit of trawling around on the internet, and by the way, SNCF, your lack of information is absolutely appalling. Should not take me this long to figure out what's going on. So a bit of digging around on the internet has revealed that, as I suspect, engineering work is to blame, but luckily I only need to get a bus as far as Toulon. From Toulon I should be able to pick up the trains as normal. Before I do that, I'm going to pop my head out the entrance just to take a look. And the great thing is you only need to pop your head out the entrance to immediately have this absolutely fantastic view of the city. So a further complication, apparently SNCF don't do replacement buses, so I can either get a coach all the way to Nice, which I don't want to do, or hop on a regular scheduled bus to Aubagne, but for that I have to go into Marseille, the main bus station. Just a couple of stops away on the metro. Well, here I am at Castellane in Marseille. The weather is wonderful. I don't know whether it's just because I've gone further south or if it just happens to be nicer than it was yesterday in Lyon when it was pissing it down. I think Marseille would be a nice place to visit, but today I'm not sticking around very long. I'm looking for the coach or bus number 100 to Aubagne, where I can hopefully get a train to Nice. I don't know if SNCF don't run replacement buses or if the guy I asked at the station just didn't know what he was talking about. Either way, if I can get a train from Aubagne, I'll be happy, and if I can't, then I'll be very pissed off indeed. Well, I've made it to Aubagne, and there is a train. I don't know where it's going or when it's leaving, but there's a train here, so it's a good sign. Aubagne even seems to have its own tram, which is nice. So this train goes to Hyères, and I can change about halfway at Toulon for a train to Nice. But it doesn't leave for another half an hour. So I can now return to the trains. It was a bit of a faff to get here, but thankfully I did eventually get the right bus, and it took me to the right place after having to get a metro from the station to the centre of Marseille, spend about 15 minutes looking for the right bus stop, which wasn't signposted at all. I eventually got on the bus and they accepted my InterRail pass, and it's all worked out. Big shout out to SNCF for deciding to close an entire line and just not run replacement buses because they couldn't be asked. That's really competent of you. Thank you for that. So the next train to Nice is the 1448 to Menton, which is in just over 1 hour, which on the one hand is annoying because it means I won't get to Nice until just before 5 o'clock, around 4 hours later than I was originally due to arrive. But on the plus side, it means I've got time to stop for lunch, which is good, because I'm quite hungry. Good morning, it is now Saturday. I'm here in Nice. It's about midday, so I've had a relatively lazy morning, wandering about, sitting by the beach a bit. And now I don't really have a plan for the rest of the day. I'm just going to wander along the beachfront for a bit and see if something takes my fancy. Or if not, I'll sit down and look on TripAdvisor and see what should I do with the remains of my day in Nice. Tomorrow I'm going to carry on along the Côte d'Azur, stopping off at Monaco, ultimately ending up in Genoa. So after several days of sightseeing all day, days out today, I've been having a much more relaxed kind of not doing very much day, walking along the promenade, sitting by the beach, enjoying what was up until about an hour ago lovely weather here in Nice. It's now gone a bit cloudy, but it's still relatively warm. I'm now going to climb up onto what they call Castle Hill, although I don't see any actual castle. It should give me a great view of the sea and the city. So like in Luxembourg, you can go up and down in a public lift, which I might try in a bit, but I'm actually going to climb up first because I'd quite like to climb it.
Attention les enfants, éloignez-vous.
Reculez. La super 2, ça va être tout dur. Non, mais c'est Lily. Ok, en attendant, tu fais comme ça.
Well, the weather was lovely this morning. Now it's raining. As you can see, I'm not dressed for this weather.
Since it was raining and I had nothing better to do, I decided to hop on the tram.
Prochain arrêt, Garibaldi. Garibaldi.
So here I am in Garibaldi Square. Look, no wires. Good morning, it's Sunday, it's about 11 o'clock. I deliberately left the hostel a bit late because it was absolutely pouring it down earlier. Now it seems to have stopped, but it was really raining last night. It was a thunderstorm. Hopefully it'll clear up now and be a bit nicer. Today I'm leaving Nice, I'm carrying on by train along the Mediterranean coast, finishing up in Genoa. So here I am in Monaco, Monte Carlo. Monaco is, I think, the second or possibly third smallest country in the world, just perched as a sort of almost enclave within France. Obviously it has a bit of the coastline. It doesn't own its own rail infrastructure. The station just looks like any other French station operated by SNCF. But this is technically not France, it is its own country. It even has its own seat at the UN. So the next direct train to Genoa is a Eurocity service at about 2:30. So that gives me 3 hours to have a look around Monaco. So here I am at Monte Carlo. Now in my Googling, I remembered that the longest rail service in Europe is the Nice to Moscow Express. Apparently it leaves today, it's once a week, it left today at 7:30 from Nice. Now I'm quite annoyed because I could have gone and seen it leave, but I didn't because I didn't know it was there and I was asleep. Never mind.
Yes, I had to go find yet another public lift.
So here it is, the famous Monte Carlo casino. I'm not usually one to gamble, but today I won about £3,000 by not going into the casino and gambling. So here I am back at Gare de Monaco, Monte Carlo. According to the official OOR statistics, this is actually the least used station in all of Monaco. Fun fact. The whole station is essentially built into this side of a cliff, and so for the most part appears to be underground, except on one side you can see light coming in from the window. To get to the platforms you have to go down. So the main entrance is way up and you have to come down through a lift and then a set of escalators, but you can actually exit straight from platform C. So this might actually be quite a handy little shortcut for getting down to the coast, because it saves you going all the way up and all the way down. I've discovered my new favourite thing in the whole of Monaco. There's a little table here where you can recharge your phone, but the catch is you have to generate the power yourself.
nous invitons à consulter notre site internet fellow.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, next stop,
Genova Piazza Principe.
if you're leaving us here, please call us.